Do you think that customization is required? First, do we need EMR? This is one question. Many times people, when some of my business development executives go and approach some hospital, there are various kind of questions which come in on the need of EMR. Now, simple process of writing down a prescription and examination note, ancient system have been working well. But always there is one issue. Can we analyze this data? Normally when patient leaves your hospital, you have no record available. And you need to do analysis. How will you do it? If patient comes without his file, how do you manage it? These are some of the questions which comes in. Then other aspects which is very pertinent to a medical fraternity, that every profession, dermatologist will like to capture some details which a gynecologist will not need, but his requirement will be different and pediatrician will have a different requirement. So we cannot use the same software for each of them. How do we have this solution? And especially when there is a multi-speciality hospital. We also need to understand that any hospital will have a different type of workflows. Not all will follow the same kind of thing. Somebody will like to collect a payment in advance. Somebody will like to collect payment after the consultation or treatment. Now, you cannot fit one solution to every need. And this is where we need to give a personal touch to the software. And that is why it is required that you have a software which is easily configured or customized. When in our technical terms we mean configure, is that without change of a code we are able to meet to the various needs, but many a time we need to change the code. And you also need certain things to be handled, that in the same hospital different departments will require different details to be captured from the patient and the way the records required to be maintained. So if a patient is of a gynec department and gynecologist is examining, will require different details, will require to capture previous delivery records, and when something is related to cardiac side, there will be a different requirements. How do we handle all this situation? And this is where I will say that any EMR must have features to customized to all the needs. It should be able to integrate to various features which are available in your hospital. Like you your pharmacy to be directly integrated, your prescriptions to directly go to the hospital pharmacy, and the same medicines directly through your barcode system you pick up, so wrong medicines should be identified. All this kind of features are a need which we need to capture in. We also have some time back, some of my friends from Zebra, they were talking about certain devices to be used in a hospital. Now, I have been seeing that every company comes with their own solutions, their own devices. But for the most effectiveness, they should talk to each other. So if RFID, which is attached to the patient by a Zebra, should be able to activate a EMR and bring in the patient data when the patient comes in the doctor's room. So this kind of a connectivity is required, and that is where adaptability of the software to accept communication from other systems in an integral way is very much needed requirements. What they have been talking about health band. Now health bands have become common thing. Now how we take advantage of it? Doctor will say suppose a cardiac surgeon after surgery has discharged the patient is at home. Doctor will not be able to monitor, but health band can do it. But this data, if it remains in the health band, doctor will not be able to have access to this data. Doctor will like to see how is the pulse varying during the various activities when he is walking. Now here all the connectivity, and for that connectivity software must have a proper APIs to connect up to various devices, which is one of the major important thing. And one of the question somebody in the audience was asking about will this kind of radiation of various devices working on Wi-Fi, that is 802.11, or Zigbee, which is 802.15, all these kind of things, will it not harm the patients? Well, these are questions. But the mobile which you are carrying is radiating much more than those devices at 10 feet or 20 feet away from you. And when you compare with MRI or X-ray, those radiations are much, much higher. And that is the reason why we need to keep it away. But Wi-Fi devices are going to be the in thing, and then Zigbee is what is. Today, all the data you need to concentrate, and data concentrators are going to be the main important thing. We need to have all the systems talk to each other. And if we do not, then everybody thinks that their system is best, but they are all islands. And these islands create a problem. As on today, I have seen most of the hospitals take 3 to 4 hours to discharge a patient because they have a multiple islands and they are not connected to each other. And this is one aspect which we need to take care. And this is where I will say that we need the features in EMR to talk, because that is going to be the central system which should be able to talk to all all other systems of the hospital and aggregate all the data. And EMR must be covering every aspect of the hospital. And if we do it, we can certainly make the hospital very efficient, and I will say that all the stakeholders should talk. Like I will go to a different sector. We have been talking about smart grid and smart communities. One of the reasons, while my experience in a power sector where I have been working does not succeed, people are across the world not able to achieve the result is because everybody follows their own standards and do not connect to each other, and that is where the smart communities are not becoming a reality. So if we want to make a hospital smart, we must have a configurable open EMR system. The source code should be open and hospitals should be able to customize with various vendors and connect up to the various systems. This is a very, very important thing. Then one of the thing which is needed is scalability. How do we scale to a various level? Today, many of the systems which are working on certain platforms which are restrictive, and if you know the history of Nokia, the reason Nokia did not remain the top mobile service provider is they remain confined to Symbian operating system. They were not willing to open up. While Android from nowhere came up because they were open. BlackBerry also vanished. Why? And this is where we say that all your EMR systems should be open. You should not be going in for proprietary systems where you are not able to do any modifications to your liking.
What about Apple?
Pardon?
What about Apple? Apple is totally closed.
Yes, Apple is totally closed and still it is surviving.
They are leaders.
No, they are not leaders. You analyze. Apple has just below 30% of a US market and worldwide below 18%. It is a status symbol. Apple is a status symbol. Other than that, Apple does not. So, and they are pretty good in their hardware. That is also a fact. So they have certain advantages, but like personally, I will never go for Apple. My whole family is on Apple except me. So these are some of my concepts on what should be the EMR and what all features it should have. We should be able to monitor complaints, everything in it. Basically I say EMR should be able to connect. Like I have seen a common scenario of a large hospital where hospital has an educational institute, medical college. Now, medical college software is not able to talk to the hospital software, though they two are working together. Now, hardly there are any solutions available which can serve to medical college as well as the hospital because of this particular approach of non-configurable systems. So we suggest some of the things, compliance to ICD-10, IRDA and all that kind of things, which I think most of you may be knowing. But basically, flexibility is the key word which I have been concentrating all along. And various features which we need. I'm just sending. I think these are some of the things which is the base out of this. Now is the BI. How do you get a business out of the data which is being collected in the hospitals? This is a key area where we will like you to think what can be done, and we need to have a flexibility to analyze this data. And again, this is where a system which is flexible enough to do any new kind of analysis without customization by configuration is also important. You should be able to run various BI tools on the data which you have got, because that is what is going to be helpful for your key decision making. So these are the factors which I think are important. These parts I will skip. These are general things which should be there. I will straight away go to the thing that what you think should be there. What are your opinions on what should be the hospital software? Any feedbacks from you?
According to my need, but in certain aspects they are very rigid and they are not allowing the customization, and because of that I am very well with software, but I have not in practical implementation.
Okay.
So I request that you are in that field, there should be flexibility of customization.
Okay. Now this is what I have been, I skip, thought that this is not what will come. See, out here, we are recommending certain things like a Odoo. Odoo is a ERP framework. That framework is there in a background. When it is so, for us to give you a new feature becomes very easy. Otherwise, when you are having a normal proprietary hard-coded system and you ask for certain feature which doesn't fit in a normal framework which they have developed, it becomes extremely difficult to create this kind of a feature which you may have asked for. And that is the reason why they avoid. Because suppose for developing that feature, I have to completely change my database structure. I will say, if I have provided you software for amount X, and I say that this customization will take a 2X, then, but that is why certain kind of a framework on which your software, when it is built, you can play around a lot. Now this Odoo is a framework which Toyota Motors is using it for their car manufacturing. DRDO is using for their organization. Deloitte kind of a company is using for some of their internal processes. We are using it, the same software for hospital, for fleet management or manufacturing industry or anything. That is a kind of a flexibility of certain framework, and that is where you can adapt it to any of the new demands which it comes. Or it can be connected to various devices, and this is what one should think about.
Thank you.